Imagine surviving the most famous shipwreck in history. Now imagine surviving two more just like it. This isn't the plot of a Hollywood thriller. It is the real-life story of Violet Jessop, a woman the world would eventually call Miss Unsinkable. Born on October 2, 1887 in Argentina to Irish immigrants, Violet's battle for survival began long before she ever set foot on a ship. As a child, she contracted tuberculosis. Doctors were so certain of her fate that they gave her only 3 months to live. Defying the odds, for the first time, she fully recovered and eventually moved to England after her father passed away. To support her family, she followed in her mother's footsteps and applied to be a maritime stewardess. Interestingly, she was so young and attractive that she had to dress down and wear old clothes to be taken seriously for the job. In 1911, Violet was working aboard the RMS Olympic, the largest civilian liner of its time, measuring 269 meters, 882 feet in length. On September 20, the massive ship collided with a British warship, the HMS Hawke. The impact was enough to tear 2 large holes in the Olympic's hull. While there were no fatalities and the ship managed to limp back to port, it was a terrifying introduction to the dangers of the sea. Just 7 months later, on April 10, 1912, Violet boarded the Olympic's sister ship, the unsinkable RMS Titanic. When the ship struck an iceberg 640 kilometers, 400 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Violet was ordered onto the deck. She was told to stand as an example of calm for the non-English-speaking passengers who didn't understand the emergency instructions. As she was being lowered into Lifeboat 16, an officer handed her a bundle, a baby he told her to look after. After 8 hours in the freezing Atlantic, they were rescued by the Carpathia. On the rescue ship, a woman rushed up to Violet, grabbed the baby without a word, and disappeared into the crowd. You might think she'd never step foot on a ship again, but during World War I, Violet volunteered as a nurse on the HMHS Britannic. On November 21, 1916, a massive explosion from a German mine rocked the ship in the Aegean Sea. The ship sank in just 55 minutes, nearly 3 times faster than the Titanic. As she escaped, Violet's lifeboat was being sucked into the ship's giant spinning propellers. She jumped into the water, but struck her head on the ship's keel. Despite a fractured skull, she managed to surface and was pulled to safety. Despite these 3 brushes with death, Violet continued to work at sea until her retirement in 1950 at the age of 63. Years later, living in a quiet cottage in Suffolk, she received a mysterious phone call on a stormy night. A woman asked if she had saved a baby on the Titanic. When Violet said yes, the voice replied, "I was that baby," laughed, and hung up. An in-depth fact often missed is that Violet didn't even realize she had fractured her skull during the Britannic sinking until years later when a doctor investigated her recurring headaches. Violet Jessop passed away in 1971 at the age of 83, leaving behind a legacy as the woman the ocean simply couldn't take.